Well, he's getting ready to call the game between Larange tonight in Yorkton. It's Benny Walchuk, the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League report. It's Maz here. Of course, the big news of the day, and it's got hockey fans talking everywhere, not only in Saskatchewan, but across Canada and North America, because the alumni stretches far and wide. Your initial reaction when it was announced that the Notre Dame Junior A Hounds would be moving from Wilcox to Warman to play next year in the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League?
It's something I've heard about the last month or so. We got rumblings around there. I didn't think it would happen this quick, and the announcement would happen so soon. I thought maybe later after the season, the off season a little bit, but they wanted to kind of get the foot running here in the city of Warman. But it's like I said, I know you've heard Kyle earlier. Word is bittersweet. Notre Dame has tradition in the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League for almost 40 years. They've had some great players come in. They've had some great runs with the 1988 championship team. Of course, they had a run to the SJHL final back in 2015 as well. So it's a place that I'm gonna kind of miss going a little bit. I know the crowds weren't as good the last number of years, but I liked walking around the rink. It's storied history there at the Duncan McNeil Arena. So it's tough news for the Hounds, especially some guys that grew up in the area, played in that Hounds program, played junior hockey. But on the other side, saying it, Warman is a great place. It's kind of maybe the hockey hotbed that the SJHL has been trying to get to in the last number of years. They've had the showcase there for 5 or 6 years, and it's kind of they try to get some fans interested in the game, and they finally have, hopefully here with the final approval coming up in June. But it looks like it's going to become a reality. So it's going to be great to go into a community like Warman, a great fan base, a great young community, and a progressive community, and we'll see how it works out with Notre Dame Hounds. But like you said, bittersweet day.
Yeah, you mentioned when you go into the Duncan McNeil Arena, it's hard not to be overcome when you see all the pictures on the wall and all the history that has come before you. That, as far as, and most hockey players, you're a bit of a hockey nerd and geek. I mean, that's pretty safe to say. You're into the game, so when you see that, and it's not that hockey can't succeed in other places, but once the shock kind of wears off, and I know it hasn't been a great season for the Hounds this year. But for those players, I think that maybe this, because they're going to be the last team to ever play Notre Dame for the junior, that may bond them together, probably something, because they're the end of an era of a hockey legacy that will never, ever be touched. You see all these prep schools now, Benny, or all these things. They'll get one kid that gets drafted to somewhere, to some Division IV college, and that kid is front and center on the website. Like, hey, if you send your kid here, we'll do this. Where you walk in to be like Stanley Cup champion, Stanley Cup champion, Stanley Cup champion, Stanley Cup finalist, NHL legend referee. You just, the list goes on and on. So I can only imagine, and I know that you guys are a tight-knit group in the SJ, not only the players, but the coaches and the play-by-play guys. So now that it's official and it's out there, it'll be different. And a lot of people, and as a casual fan, and I would consider myself that, I always wondered, well, why is there not a team in Regina? Why is there not a team in Saskatoon? Well, there was a team in Saskatoon for a little bit, and we can't forget that. So this kind of alleviates that if they're moving to Warman. Kyle said that the facility is world class. It's very nice. What are your thoughts on what the Hounds are moving to in Warman as far as facilities go?
Yeah, you mentioned the program. Of course, it's the junior program. They're still going to try to get the Athol Murray College in Notre Dame and the sports school kind of rejuvenized. Like when I played minor hockey against Notre Dame, we had the Jaden Schwartzes, Brandon Gormley. We had 5 or 6 first-round NHL picks or second-round picks that we played against. So you can kind of see the writing on the wall a little bit with how the program's going. But the Hounds are going to a great community. Like you said, progressive community. It's growing in probably the fastest-growing city in Saskatchewan. It's a newer community. And the building, like you said, I've had a chance to broadcast at a few SJHL showcases. It's top-notch. They got that the court facility where they play volleyball, and they have cheer and all indoor soccer. They have the great ice arena, and you said they had 11 or 1,200 seats plus standing room plus that. So it's a modern facility. It's the biggest thing is trying to get fans to the arena. They're going to have that corporate partnership, which I shouldn't be too hard to get in that community like Warman, and just trying to get fans in the building. It might take a little bit, but I think the first bit here, I think fans will come out and talk about it's the minor hockey program in Warman, in Martinsville, in that area, in the Clavette area, Saskatoon area. It's growing and growing. It's one of the biggest ones in the province. So I think their talent is going to be pretty local. I think they're going to centralize localish, and it's going to be a pretty hotbed. And also we talk about scouts getting to games, and it's hard for a scout to go from Saskatoon and drive up 4 hours to Larange. You go to Saskatoon, it's an international airport. You fly into Saskatoon and make a short trek to Warman, which is 10-minute drive. So it's going to be easy accessible for that way. So I think they're going to do well. They're going to have to see what the list is for Notre Dame Hounds. I know some players that played last year will probably not be on the roster coming up next year if it's all approved. So I think it's going to be a little bit of a jugglement for that hockey operations staff to put a team together and get all the pieces together. But that's what makes the fun of it. I think the general manager the first year is going to have some fun putting that roster together. But I think it's going to be a great move for not only the organization, but also the league in general too.
It's the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League report for Southie Mainline Chrysler. Benny Walchuk is with us, getting ready to call the game. There were 2 games in the SJ yesterday. Estevan at Weyburn, Liam Fitzgerald had a goal and an assist. The Red Wings beat the Bruins 6-3. And Carter Brilt scored the shootout winner as the Yorkton Terriers beat the Humboldt Broncos 5-4. How big was that win yesterday?
It was really big. This team has gone through a lot. I know from dating back to the forfeitures, we lost 3 games due to the ineligible player, and they've had some injuries throughout the season. They're still battling through some injuries here right now, but they've also had some players. Their 2 top scorers elected to go to the BCHL just a couple of weeks back. And just talking to Emery on the pregame show, my pregame comments, they're great players. They're tough to lose those guys because they definitely very helped the Terrier organization, but it's allowing some of these players to take bigger roles. You got Jai Zawatsky, you got Vinny Junik, a local product. You got David Coyle and Jaron Denwye who've taken the next step here. So they've kind of took the bull by the horns and run with it right now, and they're getting opportunities. So it's been a big win for Yorkton. They're trying to, because they had the Viterra division lead. They had a little bit of a slump, and Weyburn caught onto a big run to take it over, and now they're battling for it right now because that 3rd and 4th, that's still positioning. You're still opponents maybe in round number 1 and home ice advantage because this Weyburn and Yorkton team, I know there's only 9 or 10 games left, but you got the Humboldts, you got Balvilles right on their heels right now. So if they get a little bit of slide here in the next week or two, either of those teams right behind them will be very, very, very glad to climb that home ice in round 1 of the SJHL playoffs. And then I know there's some head-to-head matchups here with Yorkton and Melville too. So it's a big win for this organization. Terriers have been through a lot. They've been through a lot of road games here in the second half, and they have 6 straight home games here in the next couple of weeks, and it's going to be a busy week. But it's this Terrier team is rolling at the right time. Maybe one thing to clean up is the defensive play. They've allowed 4 or more goals the last 3 games, so that's not the recipe to success. They're getting the job done right now, but going forward, they have to try to keep those goals against down.
It's a good thing you said his name because I wouldn't have said Jaron Denwye. I would have said something different. So thanks for helping a brother out here. Leading scorer in the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League, 64 points, 27 goals, and 37 assists. Just 1 of 2 games tonight. Melfort's at the Battlefords. They're rolling. Larange is in town. The Ice Wolves. Now, on paper, it should be a win, but there's a reason why they play the games. So on GX94, our sister station in Yorkton, what time is the pregame show? What time are we get rolling with a face-off? We'll get you out of here and let you get back to the media room.
6:50 pregame show, 7 o'clock puck drop here at the Westland Insurance Arena. But you just mentioned Larange Ice Wolves. Kevin Killer-Kaminsky, former Saskatoon Blade. They're gonna have a lot of fans here. He's from nearby Churchbridge. They have a great turnout from the local community that comes out and supports them on this 4-game road trip. That they'll be in Notre Dame as well as Melville on Friday. So it should be a good test. And they always bring their A game here when they play here in East Central Saskatchewan. So it's gonna be a tough out. They're gonna be hard-nosed affair, and this might be what the Terriers need here to play a team like the Larange Ice Wolves to play that hard-nosed style to kind of punch them in the mouth a little bit here, especially getting close to playoff time.
I remember seeing their bus outside of the Ramada in downtown Regina. I'm like, geez, even the bus looks mean. It's reflecting their coach. It had a hole in the bumper and it was a little dirty on the front. And I'm like, wow, this is a Kevin Kaminsky type bus situation. Before we let you go, I haven't been in a media room in a hockey rink in a while. What's the setup in Yorkton? Are we coffee, water these days? Are there still donuts? Are there gluten-free options? I know people's diets have changed. Can you even give donuts in 2025? Are we granola bars? What's the situation in Yorkton?
You usually give me a bottle of water. I usually just go to the Terriers coach's office. That's what I call the media room right now. So they got kind of give me a coffee and maybe some fruit and veggies there before the game. But yeah, that's junior A hockey is not as spectacular for media rooms in the league. There, they don't treat us maybe as good as the Western High. I've saw some posts on social media about the Western Hockey League having pizza and buffets. So maybe it's something at the next annual general meeting or board of governors meeting that the SJHL commissioner can maybe treat our broadcast a little bit more. Maybe mandatory media rooms and food before the game. That'd be nice.
Should I call Kyle McIntyre back and say, listen, I don't care what you're doing. I know it's a busy day, but Benny and I just talked about there needs to be, I'm going to need 3 different types of pizza in the media room, donuts going forward, and this better be ready for game 1, round 1 of the playoffs, or we're all walking out.
Yeah, I'll talk about playoffs. I can see the rambling here around Geisfeld, but yeah, playoffs are even warm. And if you're listening right now for next year, that'd be get into Benny's good books if you have that nice media room for sure.
All right, Benny, have a great call.